Yes, it did happen. Yes, it is the next day. Yes, Forest still did take 3 points from Scumchester United. Welcome to Grumpy Old Reds. Wait, why did none of you notice the background's wrong, for God's sake? I was wondering why it felt a little different, but anyway, there we go. Evening, everybody.
I like the background better.
What?
I like the red background better.
Yeah, but it's like this is the theme, mate. It's like it's
Yeah,
too
but we
late
can
now.
change. Yeah,
It's been a couple of years. It's been a couple of years, mate.
Are you going to say hello to people or what?
No, you can. You can.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to Grumpy Old Reds. Tonight we'll be going to be discussing our glorious victory over Manchester United.
Yeah.
God, you're crap at this, aren't you? You're really bad at this, aren't you?
It's either Crockett or Probs, by the way. I don't know which
I'm
one.
shocking. Why do you think I never offered to do it?
Hold on, let's do a poll. Who does the chat want to host this?
They want you. They want you. They want you. They want you. I know. I can sense it. I can sense it.
And
you're asking us more.
No, I'll be all right. I can just sit here and do nothing like you if you like. Okay, then, Wolverine, give us your thoughts on the match.
Rob, what were your thoughts on the match? Okay, that's enough time, Rob. Ez?
If you're starting with Rob, I'll be back in half an hour, mate.
Oh, Ez missed the first time.
It's hard, isn't it? And now you got to pick who starts.
Well, it's not wrong, is it, Rob? It's not
who started.
I said Wolverine. Give us your views on how the match went. Are you pleased? Do you think we played well?
I know we scored three goals, but I only have 2 words for United fans. Suck it. That's it.
Nice one. How about you, Ez? What are your feelings about the match?
Mate, do you want to really go into it? Are we being serious now?
Go into it.
This poll is interesting.
I can't see it.
I'm winning with 44% of the vote. That kind of tells you everything. Like half want me to go. Ant's in second place with 24. Rob's in third with 21.
I'm not even on it.
I might not.
I mean, the thought of you hosting, Ben, would make me want to shut the channel down, mate. No offense.
Can I just say before we start, this is rapidly becoming an iconic shirt.
You hated it. You hated it at the start of the season.
I thought
it was bland, but boy, oh boy, it's growing on me. Away to Liverpool, away to Man U. If we can do Spurs as well, that's the holy trinity as far as I'm concerned.
Look, there's a demand for crypto in the chat. Several people, man. Several people.
2 people. Yeah.
Okay then. Hey, no problem, buddy. I'll move you over. There you go.
All right, let's do a little test trial then. All right, let's do a test trial. Right, Crypto, for the next 5 minutes, you're in charge.
All right, Rob, kick us off.
Seriously,
yeah.
Wait, before you do that, can I just check? Are we playing Stars in Their Eyes? Because what the hell is Ez wearing? Now he's gone off camera.
Whoa.
Ez is looking good.
I'm here for a party.
I don't know about you guys.
You miserable gits. I don't know what you're here for. I'm here for a party stream, man. I'm talking a result from when I was sweet 16. I'm sweet 46 now, and I got that same result, man. So I don't know why you lot aren't in party mood, but I'm in party mood.
That's ironic. It's ironic that your age is in line with the amount of minutes you watch of each game.
Yeah, 1 minute more.
Wait, he wouldn't have seen the goals when he was 16 then, Ben. He would have missed them. They weren't that early when we beat them last time, were they? Does anyone remember when the goals came in, when we beat them 2-1?
One was in the first half.
I was at the game, but I don't remember. I remember Ryan Giggs getting really mardy because he couldn't get anything out of Des Little, and he was getting really mardy. Anyway, I remember that.
You're getting sidetracked now, eh?
Wait, Ben, you got to keep it in control, and don't forget there's like a membership thing you got to do. So.
Oh yeah, membership. Hit the like. Subscribe.
No, I'm saying there's a membership, you idiot. Bring it up.
Oh, is there a super chat? Oh, here we go. Is this the right one, or is that from a different stream?
No, that's from a different one.
Oh fuck no.
That's an
Hang on a sec.
All I saw was he agreed with me.
He's alive. Where's he been?
What?
Where's he been?
The married man's back.
Where's he been?
That doesn't mean he's here.
Honeymoon.
Doesn't mean he's here just because that's come up, does it?
No. They got to put it up in the chat. They got to put it up in the chat.
They have to do it,
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Lemmy, member for 23 months.
That's slick.
London, I'm feeling the same as you, bro. I'm feeling the same as you. Okay, Ben, you got to do the whole subscribe thing.
Yeah, everybody, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe. If you hate Man United, hit it twice. Make some.
No,
Then you'll unsubscribe. What I meant to say is make some fake accounts and just subscribe like 3 or 4 times at once. We'll soon be on the road to 30,000. Rob, I'm still waiting for you to speak. I've asked you like 3 times.
You've remembered I'm here because like 4 minutes ago you asked me for my comments and you've displayed all the chairmanship of Joe Biden. I was even here. Right, okay. I would like to start by giving a shout out to the Forest Stadium Tour and Museum, which is how we started yesterday. I think it turned out to be a good start to the day, didn't it? Thank you for organising that, Crypto. So we had a good look around everything.
What a host.
We lived some old hostess of the mostest.
No, he organised it. There's a nice man called Ian showed us around, and we relived some great old matches. And there was this guy that was following me around, going, "I was at that match. I was at that match.
I told you he would. I told you he would."
Eventually, we got to something in 1959, and he says, "I wasn't at that match."
Was that the cup final?
This is how far back you have to go. But it's funny because in the process of this, we did discuss that 2-1 win at Old Trafford 30 years ago, and I think it just puts it in context because yesterday's result is a game that we're going to be talking about in 30 years' time. It's up there, isn't it? So,
hey, Rob, you know what's funny as well? He said to
no
the
interrupting.
Group,
shut up, Ant.
He said to the group, it's not started his thing yet. We're just having a chat. So,
it's gonna be a long night.
Anybody here? Dare I ask? Anybody here old enough to remember the 2-1 from 30 years ago? And I went, yeah. And then I thought, I'm not going to tell him I was at the fucking 4-0 as well.
And you've been interrupted. Nobody cares, Ant.
I was on that subject.
Rob, shut up.
No, hang on, it's my go. You are a shit chairman.
Interrupted by Jess. £5.55 from Jess. Shut up, Rob. Jess says, "Evening, gents. Happy with the 3 points yesterday, but not happy that Rob's going first." Thanks very much, Jess. Right, Rob, you can carry on now.
This has given me a new appreciation for Wolfie, I have to say.
Thank you.
So I was at the 8-1 home defeat. So that kind of
negative, man. Why? That's
all the sweeter. So
that opens a scar. That opens a scar, Rob. You're not allowed to say it on here.
No, it helps banish it.
We can't talk about the Sheffield 2003. We can't talk about
I'm just glad that Wolverie's entering the spirit of being a panelist and interrupting like the rest of us.
I like your seat. It's so much more comfortable.
If you want to serious point, if you want to look at our head-to-head with Man United since we got promoted, you can see a clear progression in our team. Maybe some level of deterioration in theirs, but like first time we played them, I think was a 3-0. Second one was a 2-0 or a 3-0 in the cup. Then there was that another 3-0. Was it Boxing Day or something like that? So it's 3 games that we lost to 0. Then we had the 3-2 where they had a lot of assistance from the Premier League to come back and win that one. Rashford diving, Worrell getting sent off, but we scared them on that one. Then we beat them at home, and we've beaten them again, and we've beaten them away now. So I don't think we need to go back, but you can see the progression in our team by how our results have improved against that opponent. And as far as I'm concerned, no looking back. And, you know, what a contrast from 48 hours ago where we were absolutely furious and we were ripping into the team and saying, like, we're not really equipped to take on these big guys. We need to perhaps know our place a little bit. But, like, look, if you win away at Anfield and away at Old Trafford in the same season, you are a player, you're a big club, and you are a prospect for a Champions League spot. And I think that we have
Rob, can you answer our viewer's question, please?
Who wasn't predicting a loss? I mean,
that's such a politician answer. You can't just take his question and spin it round. Answer the goddamn question.
My answer is that I just didn't see in the Man City game what the potential was for turning that around. But I think the 3 changes that were made, Williams and Anderson and Hudson-Odoi, all down the left side, made a really big difference because it took out 3 players that didn't deliver in that Man City game. And it shows that we've got the squad depth.
You just answer the question, mate.
Well, no, why did I predict a loss? Well, I've answered it because there was nothing in that Man City game to give me any hope that we were going to pull out something like what we did yesterday. So, but the change in personnel is obviously what contributed to that.
This is supposed to just be an intro, by the way. You've been going on for 12 minutes. I was going to come to Ez next because he looked pretty cool, but I don't know where he's gone. So let's go to Mr. Forest Ant, who was
when you getting rid of him?
The birth of Nottingham Forest in 1865.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. Well, what's your question then?
What 5-minute review of the match? What were your thoughts on?
Well, the reason, seeing as I'm glad you asked me that. The reason I said we'd lose is because I'd lost confidence in us because we'd conceded 3 goals in 3 out of the previous 4 games. And although Man United are not a good side, they did beat Everton 4-0, which is probably something we'd struggle to do. So, and also there's the PTSD with Man U, isn't there? Like there is with, a few other teams. So I was fearful. But let me tell you something, right? The reason I say something, I think I said we'd lose 2, maybe 3-0. The reason I do that is because it's like to protect myself. Inside, obviously, I'm hoping and praying and hoping that we're going to win. But if I say we're going to lose, that's like a protection buffer, isn't it? That's what people do.
Shut up.
So that's why I said that, to protect myself. So
you liar.
My
you
expectations
liar. You liar. Liar.
I'm not lying. That
you
is
are
genuine.
lying. You not only did you say we were going to lose, you said you expected us to get tonked. You liar.
I did
you
say that.
liar.
Yeah, we've got the clips.
What's Crypto's prediction? What was Crypto's prediction?
Sorry, you don't
predicting the victory.
Rob, you don't ask questions to the host. That's not how this works.
Well, who is the host? Because that guy on the bottom left seems to still think he's in charge.
Hold on, I've just put a poll up. Did Crypto host the whole show? 19% say yes.
Stop it now.
90% say no. And need 5 more minutes to judge is 13%. I think the chat has spoken. Crypto, don't give up the day job, mate.
That's better.
But we need to call Ant out. We need to call Ant out. In fact, we need to call you out as well, Crypto, because Rob is right. You predicted a loss.
Rob frozen.
No, you frozen. What's your answer? What was your prediction?
What? He said you.
You idiot.
Rob. You said Rob. Me.
You. I said Rob was right. You predicted a loss.
This is like that thing out of Rush Hour where
Stop
it's like
deflecting. Stop deflecting.
I still don't know who you mean. I predicted a loss, yeah, because off the back of the Man City loss.
But did you not predict? So that bet you had, was that not for a Forest win then?
Yeah, I didn't predict it in real life, just on GOR. I thought we'd win, obviously. I always predict we'll win. I always predict we'll win.
I saw his betting slip, and I could tell you he had Forest to win. In fact, the one that let him down was Arsenal.
Yeah, your team. I couldn't believe that. I tell you what, right? I tell you what. You should all sit here and thank me because I'm actually the person who chose yesterday's team. If you remember, I literally chose yesterday's team.
No, you were close. You didn't choose it exactly.
Apart from Yates, but Yates was the worst player in the game. I chose the team.
What you're not taking into account is if they'd have picked my team, we would have won 6-0.
Comment of the day.
Oh, he's seen that on my Twitter. I put that on Twitter earlier. I said, who's better? Actually, this is an interesting question. Who's the better upgrade? Murillo over Worrell or Sells over Matt Turner?
Wait, at what stage do you think you're the host and can start asking questions?
I got 19% vote. Isn't that how politics works?
No. We need to move on.
They are trying to change it now. RP.
Yeah, exactly.
No, PR.
He's more popular than Keir Starmer, anyway.
19%. All right, anyway, right. I want to get into Keir
Starmer.
Speaking of the team sheet, Ez, what were you saying to that team sheet?
Well, the one we didn't leak. Once I saw it, well, a few more changes than I expected. Did I actually think?
Bro, you're frozen.
As is speaking whilst not moving.
I'm here. Am I speaking? Am I moving? What am I doing?
Oh my God, you're nearly as you're going as slow as Harry Maguire did yesterday.
As you're moving at the same pace that I
get out and come in. All right. I don't know whose turn is it. It's those shades, man. They're slowing you down. It's God says Mark. So what did you boys think of the team sheet? Because I thought it was weak. I'll be honest with you. Well, I showed you the team sheet the night before, but none of you I wish, guys, after we did the preview, I could have recorded their reaction to the team sheet because it was even worse than their predictions. It was even worse.
It was basically my team.
Can I answer that? I have to say, my prediction was correct in that we didn't get through the first 20 minutes without conceding a goal.
Yeah, but we scored first. You didn't caveat that, did you?
Well,
true.
But I was
you said we would go down. Your exact words were, we would go down in the first 20 minutes, and then we'll be chasing
I said we wouldn't get through the first 20 minutes without conceding a goal, and we didn't.
Why do you always have to try and spin it to be right? Why can't you just talk about the team? The team is more important than you, Rob.
Never said it otherwise.
Can I just say as well, I think we really need to big up these guys because that display against Manchester City was fucking dreadful. Really, really dreadful. Lack of application, lack of effort, not a lot of running about. Whereas there were times on Saturday when the Forest players were really getting stuck in. They were chasing down. There was 2-on-1, 2 of ours on one of these going at them. And that makes a difference because against teams like Man United, put them under pressure. Their defense is not good, as we've seen. And for parts of that game, particularly the early part, I think, of the second half, we could have had 5. We were just like wave after wave after wave, and they couldn't just they couldn't deal with it. We went 3-1 up, and then we did. And we all know that's the time when you think, okay, bring Morata on and let's play a more defensive style and on the break. We didn't do that straight away. We just went deep. And that's when they started to get back into it. And obviously they got a goal. But once Morata came on and we got more proper defensive shape, I don't think they were going to score. When you're watching it live, obviously you're scared to death, aren't you? Every attack, you think, oh God. Yeah. But if you watch it afterwards, you think, what was I worried about? They got nowhere near us.
Well, I don't know. Rashford had that shot that was deflected. But
Rob, in all fairness, mate, you're always going to get the opposition. No matter how poor that opposition is, they're always going to have 1 or 2 half chances during the game because we missed a lot as well.
I felt more at risk in that last 30 minutes than I did against Liverpool, actually, because Liverpool didn't really get in the box. But in that one, there were a couple of scary moments. There was Rashford's shot came off Milenkovic's arse, and then there was that. I think was it. What's that? I can't remember the small guy's name. He volleyed it.
Ahmed Johnson.
No, not him. The one that wasn't good.
The small guy's name.
Pizza face, zip face.
Yeah, he volleyed it over the bar towards the end.
Martin.
Yeah.
He's crappy. And he's not
terrible.
Really...
He was shocking. He was shocking. He was.
He's not really
the butcher. They call him the butcher, man. The butcher.
You know what? I think that name's dwindling. You know what I mean?
He got chopped, mate. He got chopped by wood. That's what happened.
When he first came over here, he went around kicking people, but getting booked. So he's had to moderate his game. And without him kicking people, there's not a lot else.
Oh, I thought he was brilliant yesterday, mate. He went man to man on Milenkovic. What was that all about? And then Chris Wood's goal, he just watched it go in.
That was brilliant.
That was so bizarre. But a couple of
Nick was fuming. Nick was fuming. I spoke to him after the match, man. He was boiling, man.
That's not true, Simon.
Did you those goals? Christmas time.
Yeah.
He's smaller than us.
It's not. And can I ask you a follow-up question? Out of all the good things that happened, why did Morata not come on when we were 2 goals ahead?
Don't know. None of us. I think we'd all agree that at 3-1, that's when he should have brought him on.
I was calling for him after 3 minutes. I was like, put him on, man. 1-0 up. We're done. And then Rob's texting me while I'm in the middle of the watch along. Caps letter. By the way, he still texts this, right? It does my head in because I never. He texts.
You read it.
Jack, if you use WhatsApp, put a W. If you text, put a T. I want to know, do people still text, right? Or not? And he was sending it in caps lock. Where is Morato? Where is Morato? Bring him on. So I think, Rob, you wanted him on as well.
Well, we have not surrendered a lead with Morato on the pitch. In fact, we've only conceded 1 goal, and that was in a game where we were already 2-0 down. So he is a closer. He is a match winner. Definitely.
Would you? Who doesn't know?
Of course
who
he
doesn't?
Of course he does. Why wouldn't he?
Who doesn't? I tell you what, some of the
chat
chat showing their age,
question from you than that.
I mean, if you'd said like crypto, then people would question it.
You should see what we think of theirs.
and them shades.
You do realize the people in the watching should realize that Ez is actually named after Martinez. That's why they're the same height.
Tumbleweed.
That wasn't bad though. That wasn't bad, you know.
That was shocking.
It was awful.
It was awful. I wasn't even joking. I wasn't even joking.
You're only encouraging him.
Right, good. That's good. Mark was calling for Morato on X. Well, we can't call for him on X. We'll talk about that later. Rob uses Morse code too. He does. I mean, some. I think some of the chat just want to write twat. Just give them all the letters for it. That's what it is. Okay. I was gonna talk. Look, Ez, on a serious note, yeah. I know we beat him and everything, and it was fantastic. But we weren't that good that first half, bro. I'm being honest with you. That midfield was still donut-like. Apart from Anderson, I thought Anderson was brilliant. But the rest, where was Hudson-Odoi?
That's the annoyance. So we've done it again. We got a nice early lead, and then we sat back and we just invited pressure on, and it got to a point where it was inevitable they were going to score before half time. So I didn't envisage that we'd go in with the lead. But that's something that we really need to work on, because it happened straight away. As soon as we'd scored that goal, we went back into that shape and invited them on. Now, I know they're the kind of team that you kind of want them to have possession, because I don't think they've got much about them in terms of breaking us down. But they've still got, there's 1 or 2 players that you give them enough space on the edge of the box, which we did a couple of times with that Ferret. We've got to learn from those mistakes, and it's happened a couple of times. So I didn't like the way we sat back as soon as we got that early goal. The early goal was fantastic, but we've got to go for the juggling, and I think that's why, just going on to a point about why he didn't bring Morato on. If you listen to what Nuno said post-match, he wanted us to get that 4th goal. Now, he said that 3-2, yes, I understand. But he didn't want to change the shape as soon as he went to goal.
That. I love that, Ez. I loved when he said
I love that mentality, and that's clearly what he wanted to see from the players.
Yeah, but that's a new mentality, isn't it? He hasn't tried to.
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
absolutely.
I think that was the wrong mentality. I think that was the wrong mentality.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't think he necessarily means all out attack. I think he means defend well, but not so deep.
Yeah.
So that when you do get the ball, you can spring a quick counter attack. I think that's. But what
saying that, he's then put Dominguez in the false 9 position. So what options is he giving us to break forward and get a 4th goal? But so he's trying something different, and we could clearly see that yesterday. But the substitutions again, they could have been more impactful or even slightly less impactful. Either way, I didn't see them. I remember the Ipswich game when we gave him that last 20 minutes to attack us. As that was more, I was more worried in that game than I was yesterday. Touching on what Rob said, I would have given him another hour if they scored that equaliser yesterday for me. So I think it worked out because we were up against Man U. And look at what Amarin did. He bloody took his strikers off. His substitutions were unbelievable. Crazy. I have no idea what he's trying to do. He's trying to basically
every time he did it, every time he brought someone, I was thinking, brilliant. This is helping.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's like he's trying to get minutes and legs for his players, and that's all that exercise was yesterday. It's almost as if he was resigned to the defeat. So certainly his tactics and his substitution second half helped us out, but I didn't see them as a threat in that last 20 minutes. I wasn't worried about conceding that equaliser, but at the same time, we get that 4th goal, it's game over and you can relax. So mentality, I can see what Nuno's aiming towards, but we're still lacking that quality. Still, what's coming off the bench, Elanga's been mentioned in the chat again. What did he do when he came on?
Because we're a bit guilty.
We still have got quality to impact games.
Sorry.
Go on, carry on, bro. No, I was just going to say
we're all sometimes a bit guilty when a team is under pressure and they start sitting too far back, and everybody's saying, "Fucking hell, move up, move up." We are guilty of always blaming the manager for that, and I think oftentimes, that's a good word. I like that one. Oftentimes, the manager doesn't want that, but the players, it's a natural instinct for players as the time wears on to get more and more defensive and sit back.
Yeah.
So sometimes maybe we blame Nuno when it's not his fault. Yeah.
No, I disagree. That is Nuno's style.
Not necessarily that deep. Not necessarily. I tell you what I was getting annoyed yesterday because we were defending that deep from corners on at least 2 occasions. At least they were defending that deep in the 6-yard box that they left players free on like the penalty spot and just out.
Yeah.
Into the box.
And we've conceded a few goals like that this season. We've done that a lot this season.
We have. Yeah. We've got to learn to have somebody coming out to those players. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that is on Ryan Yates because he did that yesterday as well. But I was gonna say, like, for me, the magic bit of the game was the second half when it started. Because looking at it, Rob, we were pressing. And shock horror, because we pressed them, we created a mistake. That ferret, lucky hair teeth, Bruno Fernandes, with that terrible pass. And then God knows what Onana was doing. But that was from the press. And for the third goal as well, the press came because we won the second ball. Gibbs-White crossed it in. It came back. I don't know which Man U player it was, but Anderson and Jota was straight on him, won the ball back, higher press, cross the ball in, we score. Is it a little bit frustrating that you can see that when we press, we create those opportunities?
Exactly.
Or do you think it's safer just to do that? Just before you do that, I just got to catch the super chats. Take a quick pause for the super chats. Seb with the £5. He says, I saw Rob in an Iceland. This is Rob Watch weekly from Seb in Newark. He was wearing a t-shirt that said, all seafood is a risk. And he was asking for directions to Marks and Spencer's. Where is the old sweater?
This is very detailed. This is very detailed.
Very worrying as well. Very worrying.
He was wearing yellow underpants.
He's got a format which is like a place, an activity, and then a punchline. So
you're not denying it.
No, I think ChatGPT is writing these. So I do. Look, I have indeed said all seafood is a risk, but only when you're on holiday.
Oh, that's a whole other debate. That's a whole other debate. Thank you so much.
You need a new channel.
And the insight to the weird and wacky world. That is Rob. And jessa.girl.who.loves.forest with the £2.00 says, we were shit. They were worse.
Come on, Jess. Come on, girl.
We'll come on to that.
Right.
Jess. Thank you so much for the £2.
Yeah, so coming
on, Rob, on that pressing thing.
Yeah, so I haven't actually seen Forest press like that since the Southampton game. Actually, that's the last time I remember us actually pressing. I wouldn't say it was a high press. So I think our front four were sort of standing off them and letting them pass in their own half. But then as soon as they got to the halfway line, then they were pressing, and they were pressing as a unit. And it got it paid dividends. And the frustration was that they weren't doing it for the whole game. Because they cleared, the press was sort of intermittent, but they forced several mistakes out of Onana. The one from Fernandes, the stray pass that went to Hudson-Odoi for the goal. And by the way, Hudson-Odoi, I think you should get some credit for his performance. I don't think it was great, but he did the simple thing, which is he laid it off beautifully to Gibbs-White for the goal. And that's all that you ask from him. You know, he doesn't have to all be about whipping in those shots all the time. He just played a nice, simple pass. And I was thinking, would Elanga have done that? I'm not sure. So, credit to Hudson-Odoi. He was okay. He was decent. And he played in Gibbs-White beautifully for that pass. But, I think this is the frustrating thing with Forest, because they got that press right for about 20 minutes, mainly at the start of the second half. And you think, God, if they know how to do it, why can't they do it all the time? It's the same as with that Liverpool game. If they can play like that, why don't they just repeat that?
Tell you why if you want, Rob.
Go on then.
Purely because if that press is broken, we're wide open at the back. So if we're going for goals like we were in the first part of the second half, it's like quite transparent. We were going for goals. We believe we could get them. So we pressed high up the pitch. We risked being caught on the attack, on the counter attack. We managed to get those 2 goals, and then we stopped taking those risks. I think it's planned. I think that's what we do.
Do you agree with that philosophy?
Several games this season, we've seen us high press for a period of time, get a goal or 2, and then sit back. So it's not by accident.
Yeah, but do you agree with that philosophy, Ant? With Milenkovic and Murillo as your back 2?
No, I do.
They should be able to clean up.
No, against certain teams that can pass well, particularly like Chelsea, for example. I would not play that against Chelsea for a very long time because
would you do it against Man U?
I would now, yeah. I haven't seen what I saw yesterday, but I wouldn't have said that necessarily before the game. But I wouldn't play against Tottenham, for example, because they can break quickly.
Can I come back on that? So, as you just said, should we not press more with Milenkovic and Murillo as our central defenders? I've got no question over them. My problem is that sometimes there's nothing screening them, right? And there is a gap in between the midfield and defence. And it's the same gap that Haaland ran into after 3 minutes against Man City. And it's the same gap. It's the same gap that allowed them to get their first Man United to get their first goal last night. So that my problem is not. I've got no doubts over the quality of the defense. It's just that if you get stretched, there seems to be a gap that opens up. I don't think Anderson got anything wrong yesterday. I think
I'll tell you exactly what it is. I'll tell you, people aren't going to like this, and they'll say I've got an agenda. But the problem yesterday was Ryan Yates. Watch back that. Don't take my opinion on it. Watch the highlights yesterday. The first goal, Ryan Yates is tracking his man, and then he runs out of position to try and track someone else. For what reason, I don't know. The second goal, he's tracking his man. Aina comes and starts tracking him. Ryan Yates should switch over to the one Aina's left. Instead, he runs off to the right to try and tackle the guy with the ball on the edge of the box. The ball comes in, and the guy he's supposed to be tracking scores a goal. He did it on both goals yesterday. And I'm not just saying this because people think I have a right.
No, you're right to say it. You're right to say
it. Watch the first 10 seconds before each of the goals yesterday. The person who loses the man in both ones is Ryan Yates. Sangare can't come quick enough back into this team.
This is where I want to go.
3-0 yesterday if he was playing.
This is where I want to go with it. Without a dedicated CDM like a Sangare, with a quality of a Sangare, you can't play that style. That's what I believe. And it's not a dig at Yates. He's just not that player. He isn't that player. So he's been asked to do a position that I don't think he's capable of doing. And we've got no other alternative at the moment because you can't play Dominguez in there. One thing I saw beneficial from, well, there's a lot of benefits I saw from Anderson yesterday, but something I saw from him yesterday but I haven't seen before was his defensive work. I thought he was solid in that midfield. He helped. Yeah, that was as good as I've seen him in that position. So I'm really confident that he can play a deeper role as a midfield, and probably be a better. I would like to see him and Dominguez in that without Yates. I would like to see.
That's an interesting concept, as we've never considered Anderson as a number 6. But you know what? Having seen him yesterday, the way he was getting stuck in at the back yesterday, and he can play the ball out, obviously, and he can dribble out.
You're stretching now, mate. You're stretching.
I don't think so.
Anderson was superb yesterday. Anderson looked every bit a £35 million player yesterday. And his delivery, the dead balls were really good as well. And he's going to get a goal soon.
Yeah. I would honestly,
that's interesting.
Until Sangare's back, I would not have a problem with seeing Anderson and Dominguez as that central two.
I mean, you're both idiots then. You're both idiots.
No, well, you carry on. You carry on.
No, you are.
Is Yates a CDM?
No,
he's not.
So what Wolf is saying is he'd rather see a midfield of Yates, Anderson, and MGW. Rather than Anderson, Dominguez, and MDW. That's what he's saying. He's a crazy man.
No, you're putting words in my mouth. The job of an 8 is to get up and down, box to box. That's what they're called. It's in the name. So he doesn't need to play in the 6 to be defensive. He can still play in the late.
I agree.
You are right. You are right on that. It does depend on what kind of system we're playing. I do agree.
Yeah.
We can play a box midfield with no six, but you still got two defensive midfielders. So yes, you are right. I do agree with that. All I'm saying is, at a push,
you are agreeing. I'm right.
No. It's a better six than Yates, in my opinion. I'm sorry.
I think Rob's a better six than Yates. Right.
Well,
if I'm honest,
can I give it
there you go, then.
Briefly a fair assessment of Yates? So we've got to remember one thing about Yates, which is that he wasn't actually in the team against Bournemouth on the first day of the season, right? And when Danilo got injured, eyebrows were raised when he was brought on as a sub. So we know that Yates actually wasn't part of the master plan for Forest. Now, I would say that in the 5 or 10 games following that, he was in the team on merit and his game has developed. But the flip side of that is over the last 2 or 3 games, I think in his form has taken a major dip. He's shown some poor decision making. He's tried to buy fouls and he's turning into a bad version of Ryan Yates again. And if that is what's happening, hook him back off again. I'm not writing him off as a player. I'm not writing him off as a player. But I'm just saying that we've got to remember that he wasn't part of the original plan. He broke into the team because of injuries. He held down the place under merit. But the fact is, he's not in there on merit at the moment. I think he's there out of some kind of inertia, and we need to be prepared to look at other options. For now, I'm not writing him off as a player long term. Right?
Can I just make a few points? First of all, Owen, I mean, I completely disagree with your comment. When Yates has played well and when he's improved, we've called him out and said he's had a good game. I don't, we've never not had respect for him.
We have.
Because he's been played wrong. He's been played wrong. Yates' best game was the one against, was it Wolves or Bournemouth, where he paired up with Sangare and was released to go forward.
Yeah, he's not
great in the box. I think he's good in the second third of the pitch. The upper half of the second third of the pitch.
He can't defend because he loses his player. Seriously, for those who join in, watch the highlights yesterday. Yates is the one who loses man. I just want to make another quick point.
And if the Man U fans are praising him and you want to listen to praise, go listen to United Stand or something, man. They got a Forest host there. You should feel right at home.
I think Ant and Ez, I think it was Ant and Ez, or Ant and Rob, have got it wrong. I think Anderson needs to go in the 10, and Morgan Gibbs-White needs to go in the 8.
No. I've put him in the 10 more times than anybody else.
Who would you have in the 6 then?
Well, at the moment, I'd have Domingo, but I'd rather have Sangare.
Yeah, well, I know I would be. He's not.
I would play Dominguez in the 6. I would play Dominguez in the
6 at the moment.
Do you know who else could play in the 6? Murillo.
And Anderson 8. That's what I'd play.
I would want to test that out because I think I'm in love with Morato now because he's my safety net. Yeah. So if he's on that pitch, I just feel like we don't concede. So just chuck him on at the start. Put Morato and Milenkovic. I get it. Everyone in the chat is going to say, oh, you're going to break up the M&M and what have you. I'm saying as a temporary solution because I think we can all agree we don't have a 6 while Sangare is out. And some would say Sangare isn't a great 6. Yeah. Some would. I wouldn't. While he's not there, we're shoehorning people into that 6th position. Murillo is a good ball player. He can track a man and he can defend. His weaknesses are that Milenkovic is the one who makes him look better because he covers his weaknesses when he misses the ball or overcommits on a slide. Therefore, if he's doing it higher up the pitch, you'll then have Milenkovic and Morato behind him to protect him. Go on, Rob.
Is he too left-footed? Is my worry, right? Because
it doesn't matter if you're playing in the middle.
No, he plays that diagonal crossfield ball exceptionally well, right? But he needs to be over to the left in order to do that. My concern is, like, let's say he's drifted over to the right. Can he do the same thing on his other foot? I've not even seen him use his right foot. So that would be my worry about that. Having said that, I would say perhaps the home game against Brentford is the sort of game where you could try that out. Not away at Man United, Man City, or Spurs, but that
we're
would be
away to Brentford. We're away. We're home to Villa.
What's that?
Home to Villa.
Got it the wrong way around. Home to Villa. Yes, home to Villa, away to Brentford. I would say that might be the one where you want to to try that out because it's not the same as trying it out away at City. You know.
Yeah, but Brentford are good at home. Brentford are good at home.
Yeah, no, right. I meant that
got the best home record in the league.
Home game
actually,
might be the time to try that out because we have got depth in that position. You know, we've got Omobamidele can come on as a sub, so he hasn't even been used.
He doesn't even make the bench, though, Rob. He doesn't even make the bench. Do you know what? I think there's been I know we praise the recruitment, but I think we need to criticize him a bit because there's basically no backup for Sangare, and there's no backup really for Wood. There's no backup for Sangare. If you look at it realistically, one of those, if Wood gets injured, what do? You put Tyrell on, obviously, but what happens then to the season? I think in January they need to go out and get at least a CDM and a striker, and to be honest, maybe a winger as well.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but look, my point on the Sangare thing, I'm not saying he's a permanent solution to the problem. I'm saying he's a solution until the Murillo thing, until Sangare comes back. Because if we're shoehorn someone who's classy. I remember when we were calling for him last season to start ahead of the likes of Worrell, ahead of the likes of whoever. We were like, oh, he's too young, break him in. No, he's quality. Bring him in. Play the quality. Yeah. Who would you trust more in midfield? Murillo or Yates?
Well, Murillo as well, because he wants to play there. I think the last interview I saw with him, he actually said he'd like to play that CDM role. So give it a go, man. It can't be worse than, like, say, the options we've got at the moment.
Sorry, Ez.
No, go on. I was going to say, it's not worse than the options we've got at the moment. So go ahead, Dan.
I think if we get who we got in the FA Cup, Luton, playing there against Luton, mate. That's what you do. You play them against Luton. My only fear, to be honest, and it sounds crazy considering he's a central defender, is whether he'd be disciplined enough to play that, because I know if he's out in midfield, he's going to get tempted to keep going up the pitch.
He's got the pace to recover it. He's got the pace to get back.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's all right.
I just said it's a concern. That's all. Whether he's disciplined enough.
Could you imagine him winning the ball high up the pitch? It'd be. I'd love to. I would love. I'm not saying
as number 10 or perhaps striker.
I'd play him everywhere, man. I think he can play everywhere bar and goal. I really do.
One thing Yates did
do a job anyway, to be fair.
Yates actually managed to stop, I think it was 10 plays without getting carded, which was pretty impressive. How he didn't get carded, I don't know.
I wish he got carded yesterday, mate, because he'd be suspended.
So actually, there was a good point made in the chat higher up, which is Yates might be playing differently now because he's aware that if he gets that card and he gets banned,
then he shouldn't be playing. He shouldn't be playing.
Yeah, no, I agree, but it might be affecting how he plays.
Well, I've put the poll up. Is Yates ... 6 and 8 box to box or a sub? 8% think he's a 6. 3% thinks he's an 8. 29% have said box to box. 61% are saying a sub. So the chat has spoken. We got nearly 500 of you guys in here. Please do take a second, hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you are new. Shout out to my man Forest Ranger, who's been here for donkey's years with the £1 super sticker. You absolute legend. Appreciate it, bro. And Curtis, that's way too generous, mate, with the $20. Thank you so much, buddy. He says, I believe we need a backup striker, starting 10, maybe a winger. Forest, he did the double R, is targeting Theo Asgard and Evan Ferguson. I suggest Amiri, which is another Arab name. We need to win now, and MGW can be sold for me. I would start Anderson over MGW. Curtis, your timing of that super chat is perfect, because this is our next topic. Mr. Morgan Gibbs-White, and as Mark says here, thank you again, Curtis, for the 20. MGW lost possession 21 times yesterday. And I want to come to you because you've been very vocal about Morgan Gibbs-White. I said yesterday in my player ratings, I can't remember, I was so giddy. I thought he was rubbish first half and then switched on in that second half. There's a different Morgan Gibbs-White. What was your take on Morgs yesterday?
How much? I mean, I've been saying it for a long time. You know what
agenda? We know.
Yeah. How much longer do we keep saying as I've said, we know he's a good player. He's just not doing it at the moment. How long do you keep saying that for? Because it's been a fucking long time. And he was absolutely disgusting in the first half yesterday. He did improve in the second half, but he wasn't magical or anything like that. You know, if you look at other,
I think you're harsh.
Supposed to be a lot. You thought he was magical in the second half,
mate? Do you understand the skill it takes to hit a bad shot straight down the middle of the goal
I tell you what,
and sit the keeper on his ass?
Yeah,
do you know how skillful you have to be to do that?
Actually, that's a good example. He was absolutely away and clear, not a player near him, and he fucking shot straight down Onana's throat. So only the fact that Onana dived out of the way, let's be honest.
He made him dive out the way.
But what did make me laugh is I saw one podcast, a Man U podcast today, and they blamed it on the wind. It was travelling along the fucking ground, and they said the wind caught it and fooled Onana.
I agree with them. It moved. It literally moved. And
he can't cross it. He can't cross it.
Hit it. That's why.
Yeah,
but not the wind.
Yeah, not the wind.
It was on the ground.
The ground. I'm not saying it was a wind, but it did move. He cut across it.
Yeah, it did. It did move. It moved about 2 foot, 3 foot. Are you telling me
that's all it takes? That's all it takes.
There's a difference between saving it with your foot.
Are you telling me? So you're saying it wasn't an Onana mistake then? He didn't
dive before. You're swerving shot.
He didn't dive before he knew where the ball was going. That's what he did.
He has to because he knows the reputation of Morgan Gibbs-White's shot. He knows if he doesn't move early, it's going top bins. Morgan Gibbs-White never blazes it over the bar or wide.
I'm surprised he moved at all and wasn't just looking over the bar at the time.
Yeah, and
to go there.
Waiting.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not having it, Ant. I'm not having it. Joking aside, the second half, I thought his performance was excellent because his crossing towards goal was fantastic on the money. You can't keep your agenda going.
He gave the ball away needlessly, and that's
21 times according to Mark.
Numerous times. I've said to you before, I don't mind players like Morgan Gibbs-White if they're trying to play a really good ball and it doesn't quite come off because they're the balls that will get you those goals. But when you're giving it away simply, or you're trying to do fucking turns in the middle of the pitch with 3 players around you and lose it. No.
Yeah, what was that?
He made a difference. He made a difference, didn't he?
That pirouette on the edge of the box was
mate.
It was about 70 minutes as well when we're holding out, and he goes, "I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a pirouette on the edge of our box."
Can you imagine how many boys were screaming at the telly at that point?
I tell you what, I'll come to Morgan Gibbs-White's defense.
Well,
let me just finish what I'm going to say.
Right, let me finish and you come. Jack, give me a rating in the chat out of 10 for Morgan Gibbs-White's performance. If you want, you can do first half, second half for a combined. I don't care. I'm just going to the loo. I'll be right back. Go on, and then whatever.
No, what I was going to say is I don't want to spend the next hour people burying Morgan Gibbs-White. He doesn't achieve anything, right? We know the situation with him. We expect and we need more from him, but we've not seen it for a long time. But we hope that he's going to produce it at some point in his career at Forest.
And we say that, and he got a goal and an assist yesterday.
Yeah, he did produce. If he got a goal and an assist every match, everyone would say he's producing.
But he doesn't, does he? Yeah, but he doesn't.
He might do.
No, he doesn't. But
he might do from now on.
I just want to touch on something Rob said in the last stream. About how he was putting himself almost in the shop window, like showing up. And that's something he really, really... Because you also see him when there was a through ball that should have been played to him and he would have been away. But his reaction isn't a reaction of... when he's been given a captain's armband, that's not the kind of reaction I'd want from him, you know. It's a reaction of, oh, why can't you get it to me? Why aren't you as good as me? But there's times when he just wants to showboat, and that really... He cut it out for a while, and I was kind of like, he was more focused on his game. And then you saw, more. He wasn't as flary. I don't know if that's the right word, but he was doing the job that he wanted him to do. But again, those 2 trips to Manchester, we saw those bad habits again, and it is because he's on the big screen. He's playing against some of the guys that he obviously grew up playing against, and he wants to impress. And he probably thinks he's worthy of a bigger stage. But right now, you're not on that bigger stage, MG Dub. You're playing for Forest, and you need to make sure that if you are going to be our talisman, you need to set the example for the others to follow. Because right now, I agree with a lot of what the guys are saying about Anderson. Anderson, his set pieces yesterday, fantastic. You know, We are a threat for decent all of a sudden, you know.
Much
But
better
so
than I like.
Can I ask everybody a question? Everybody a question, right? If an offer for 40 million came in, right, and for that 40 million we had to get rid of either MGW or Elliot Anderson, which one would you get rid of?
I'm not underselling MG Dub. I think he's worth.
No, 40 million. That's the offer, mate. 40 million.
Yeah, but I wouldn't sell either.
You ain't going for any more than that, mate.
Yeah, wouldn't take for either.
No, you have to. You don't have a choice. It's PSR. We'll get deducted 48 points if we don't sell one of them.
I will answer it.
I'd sell Yates for 40.
One as a poll.
No, why can't you just answer a perfectly sensible question?
That's all I said.
Rob will answer it.
But then do you want it as a poll? Not answering it. All right, good question. I would keep Anderson and I would sell Gibbs-White. And I'm
saying for 40 million.
No, I've said it's a PSR thing. You've got to say. I didn't want to put a daft, stupid 60 million on either of them because we're not getting that, right? Despite your imaginations, Morgan Gibbs-White is not going to fetch 60 million.
Yes, he would.
Easily. He's an England player.
And he would.
Easily.
And Newcastle would pay that. Trust me, a Newcastle would pay that for him.
If they were going to pay 50 for Elanga.
I think we've established over the past few years that when I say something, it always turns out that you lot are being stupid and I'm talking sense. Remember when I said get rid of Taiwo? Everybody was up in arms about it. Yeah, right. So I'm telling you, we wouldn't get 60. Okay, if it makes for it doesn't matter. The figure doesn't matter. But let's say 50 million. If it makes you feel a bit better, it really
that's still too low.
Choice of which one. If we were being offered the same money for both of them, which one would you sell? For me, it'd be MGW. For Rob, it'd be MGW. I'm trying to ask a proper question here.
I mean, when you ask
MGW. So can I come back again? I place more value on Anderson because I think he can play more positions, and he doesn't seem to have.
He's a better player as well.
A character flaw where look, there were a couple of dribbles that Anderson. There were a couple of dribbles that Anderson did in that Crystal Palace game that were really top draw.
Anderson. Really? You want me to explain that to you, do you dickhead? Anderson's not a fucking centre forward. He's not even playing as the number 10, you twat.
Hey, shut
Look
up.
at where he's playing. Look at his position. Look at what else he's contributing.
Hey, stop.
But how many?
You want to hand it back to me? I was trying to make a sensible point there.
He's put his opinion in. He's entitled to it.
Of course, you're entitled to say I disagree with it.
Yeah, you don't have to call him a twat.
All right. My apologies, Jason. You're not a twat. Is that better?
That's better.
And he's not a dickhead.
Disagree. Right. You don't have to call him a twat.
Can I carry on?
When people say idiot things, though, it drives me up the wall.
It's not. It's a valid point.
It's not a valid point. I've just explained why it's not a valid point.
Everyone's point is valid on here, Ant.
Why don't people look at the game and make a proper, sensible decision instead of coming out with trite statements that are just how many goals?
You don't have to agree with it. You can call it a bad opinion.
How many goals this season?
Who?
How many?
Who?
2. That makes him a better player then because he scored 2
twice
goals
as many as Anderson has.
He's literally 110.
Yeah, that makes him twice as better player then, does it? Is that how football works?
I didn't say that.
Well,
I'm just defending Jason's right to his opinion. That's a red line on this channel. Everyone's entitled to their opinion.
You're implying that because MGW scored 2 goals, that it makes him twice as good a player as Anderson.
I have not said that.
What a fucking take that is.
I did not say that. I did not. All I'm saying is Jason's entitled to his opinion, and Morgan Gibbs-White scored 2 goals to 0.
That stat up. That's your implication. Otherwise, why bring the stat up?
You asked the question. You said, how many goals has he scored? I just answered it.
Yeah, then you went, that's twice as many as Anderson. So
it is. It is.
My point, yes.
Did I follow it up by saying that makes him twice as good a player? Did I follow it up by saying that?
That's what your implication is.
No, you're seeing what you want to see. I'm just defending Jason's right to have his opinion.
Jason has every right to say.
Exactly.
Why say how many goals has he scored? Why say that? What difference does that make?
Maybe in Jason's opinion, that's something he cares about. I use that when I'm on Never a Foul when it comes to Chris Wood. I'll say Chris Wood has scored 10 goals.
I don't have a go at them, but I'm not allowed to say okay.
But you are.
Well, I know that. You know that.
Hello. As I was saying.
Go, Rob.
Right. I place more value on Anderson because I think he can play more positions. We've seen him play deeper. We've seen him play out on the left. We've seen him play the 10. He in terms of his flair or technical ability, we saw him do some dribbles in that Crystal Palace game when he was playing in the 10. They were absolutely top draw. There's a reason he's called the Geordie Maradona. His dead balls are a hell of a lot better. That is a serious weakness in Gibbs-White's game. I mean, remember, somebody actually started a petition to have Gibbs-White taken off corners, right? Whereas Anderson put in a corner that we scored last night, okay? So that's why I place more value on on Anderson over Gibbs-White. Now, onto the point about goal scoring, right? Gibbs-White has scored 2 goals this season, and both have been scrappy as hell, right? Scrappy as hell. Now, looking back at the wonderful source that is Wikipedia, it's telling me he scored 5 goals last season and 5 goals the season before. So with the team 5th in the table, you would expect him to be pushing for double figures this year in goals, right? And he's nowhere near that, right? Mm-hmm. He should be on about 5 by now if he's going to make double figures for the season. And I think part of the reason for that is he's been in and out of the team. He's had the injury. He got suspended. Yeah. His head's been turned. He's had 2 England call-ups. And Gibbs-White needs to focus on the task. And well done. You scored yesterday. You should be scoring a lot more often, right? So don't just try and make out that Gibbs-White is a better player than Anderson because he's scored 2 goals this season. I'm disappointed with that 2 goals from Gibbs-White. His shooting.
Why are you calling it scrappy, Rob? Who cares if it's scrappy? I don't care if it came off as half-erected
goal. He scored was scrappy as shit as well.
But it was a winning goal. I don't care. It was a winning goal.
He put us in the lead yesterday.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm starting to see the agendas.
With Gibbs-White's marksmanship?
No, not at all. But
you agree with me?
No, I think it shows the gender if you're going scrappy. I don't care. It puts 2-1 up at Old Trafford, man.
Assist and a goal.
Yeah.
The quality of a goal isn't what's that question. But we've discussed this already this season that I believe he should be by the end of the season should be in double figures for goals and assists.
The only thing that Gibbs-White has got on Anderson is the fact that he's scored a couple of scrappy goals and Anderson hasn't, right? But I'm afraid that doesn't cut it for me. So coming back to what Ant said, if it was a choice between the two, which of your children do you want to sell or keep? I would keep Anderson. I think he's the more complete player and he offers a lot more.
But we're spending a lot of time on a hypothetical.
That was exactly what I said.
Only took you 20 minutes to say that. Look, I'm not going to answer.
Oh, come on! No, shut up! Right, I listened to 5 minutes of squabbling, waiting to make that point. So you shut the fuck up because I've just made a coherent.
No.
Look, I'm not.
What are you doing? Back up.
I've been on this program for a year. I've yet to hear you make a coherent point. Right?
Too far. I'll make a coherent point now.
We've finally broken Rob down. He's one of us now. He's one of us.
Rob's triggered.
On that poll, hold on, Ben. On the poll, who would you sell for 40 million gun to head? 86% have gone for Morgan Gibbs-White.
Yes.
Agenda, you're celebrating you always say how bad the chat is when it comes to polls, and now the agenda suits him. He's happy.
Well, that's right.
Okay,
can we put some coherent sentences together now?
No, can we stop talking about a hypothetical which has got nothing to do with yesterday's game and has just distracted us for 20 minutes chatting shit about who you would sell?
Right.
Why are we selling? We're not selling either of them. But back to the point, MG Dub. The point that I made initially was MG Dub. In his head, he thinks he's the bomb, but he's not. On the pitch, he's not, and he's letting us down in these big games when he's trying to be a fancy Dan. When all it needs is somebody with the composure of what we saw from Anderson yesterday. He could learn a lot from Anderson. Genuinely could. With a style of play. And also,
how many times Anderson is? You're gaslighting him.
No, but how many times has Anderson had to be taken off in the early games? Like Nuno very rarely.
His stamina's not been great. His stamina was being built up, but he never. There were games, mate, when he got taken off when he wasn't blowing, and he never moaned. His attitude's been spot on
since he came into his club, and he's come in with knowing that obviously there was a lot of hype behind him at Newcastle, and he's come to a new club where he's got competition, and he's come in with no fear. And I think it was just a matter of time before he started getting more regular games. But for me, he's trying to become one of the first names on the team sheet. So Anderson, for me, pair him up with somebody else in that midfield, but he needs to start for me.
Yeah,
I don't know how there's been so much arguing from Ant's stupid question. Like at the end of the day,
it was a genuinely, serious question as well.
It was a stupid question. We're not going to sell either.
It wasn't a stupid question.
We're not going to sell either of them for 40 million.
You spoiled it there. I'm having a fag.
Oh, okay, don't come back on screen.
I'm going to have one in a minute, and I don't even smoke.
Look, my point here is quite simple. You lot are gaslighting Anderson, right?
No.
Let him develop. Why has he suddenly got to jump up to be in the next Maradona?
Gaslighting. The same way you've been gaslighting our whole entire squad for the last few weeks. With
where are we in the league? Where are we in the league?
Yes, but then. So what's how are we gaslighting Anderson when he's
because you're rushing him. This is my point. Why is it that any young footballer that has a few good games has to suddenly be the next Pele, Maradona, Zidane? Yeah. Why don't you just let them develop?
You're strawmanning those names. Who's mentioned?
I'm not strawmanning it because you're already putting him in ahead of Morgan Gibbs-White. He's not for a start. Yeah. Definitely not in Nuno's eyes.
No, I'm playing him in the 8. I'm not playing him in the 10 ahead of MG.
I don't care if you're playing him in the goddamn goal, right? Just let him develop. Why are we always got to go from 0 to 100 with a young player? Let him develop.
Not like Murillo. Not like Murillo.
I like Murillo's an enigma. Anderson's not Murillo level in midfield to what Murillo is in defense.
I agree with that. No, I don't think he's quite yet.
Gaslight Murillo.
Murillo.
Murillo. Was I wrong about Murillo? No.
I do believe that at 21 he's got lots of room for development, and I think his ceiling is higher than MGW. That's my own opinion. Nobody has to agree.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's not. I'm not disagreeing with that. I think his ceiling is high. I agree with you on that one. But right now we don't have to choose between the two. That's my point. And I think for me, he's got to be the number 8. I know some of you would rather see him in the 10 and MG Dub back in the 8, but that doesn't make sense for me. I think he will make MG Dub a better player. I think he will make MG Dub a better player.
I do like him as an 8.
Am I being a hypocrite? Someone explains it. How am I being a hypocrite? If I gaslit Murillo last season,
you just are.
You said
it's because I'm right and he's good. Yeah. And again, I'm not saying Anderson is right up there in my pecking order of favorite players right now. Yeah. But why? Why do we have to extend him to freaking Zidane level? Calm down. Let him get there. I hope he gets past it. My God, man. My God. Let's move on. Glenn, with the 27 months, buddy, thank you so much. Much appreciated. We got 400.
Hey, listen, chat. You don't get this entertainment on any other pod. You don't get a celebration.
Did we lose yesterday? Did we actually lose yesterday?
A celebration pod where people
freaking hell, man. Honestly, we got 450 in here, 179 likes. 21 of you can hit the like button. Get us to 200. Nikki, don't you start after what you were saying at the birthday bash, Nick. Don't you start with your voice notes as well. Anyway. What are you talking about, Laurie? You don't get my logic. My logic is sound, coherent, and objective.
In his
own mind. To be fair to him, in his own mind, it is sound.
Tell me when I've been wrong. Tell me when I have been wrong.
Ooh.
One time.
Oh, bloody hell.
I'll wait.
I'll wait. I'll go back to one. You saying that JWP should be our goal, our penalty taker?
A goalkeeper.
What's wrong with that take?
Because you put him ahead of Chris Wood and MG Dub.
Yeah, and
he's not.
Okay, but can he take penalties?
No, he's not a penalty specialist.
You don't even know a
specialist. Are you sure you want to go down this road, Des? Are you sure? Are you sure this is the one you want to try and tag me to?
I don't want MGW taking penalties.
He scored 21 out of 30. That means he's missed what, 1/3 of his penalties. That's not great, is it?
That's some great maths there, mate.
Well, yeah,
it'll do.
How's he going to
mate?
take a penalty when he don't get on the pitch?
Exactly. He's talking about his Southampton record. Anyway, I'm going.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. He's talking about him being wrong. He says he's never wrong.
I am
always wrong. Bloody hell, we know that.
60% of the time, I'm right every single time. Okay,
but you're
Curtis of the $2.
Wrong. You're always
Curtis
wrong.
of the $2. Anderson versus Morgan Gibbs-White on StatHead/SofaScore is not close. Who wins on that? Who wins on that?
Probably
$2. Paul, with becoming a new member, thank you so much for supporting the channel, Paul. And the legend 1865 Red with the 25 months. Thank you so much for that as well.
We could talk about JWP. You thought he was going to be a brilliant signing as well.
I did not say that.
No.
Don't start wrong. Yeah. You said you take him. You take him on the loan.
You fucking liar. My stance was simple. And I can quote you. I said, if we bought him, I'm against it. On loan, I don't care. That was my stance.
Yeah, that's it. See, I don't care means I like him.
Yeah, it means you worship him.
I don't care about you, Ez. It doesn't mean I like you.
Oh, you know that.
This is turning into never a foul.
This is meant to be. This is meant to be like my honeymoon period after the result. You guys are ruining it for me.
Listen,
is there anyone in the chat who wants to come on the panel?
No.
If there's anyone who wants to step on, like I'll do a vote to kick off first.
Hey, all right. Seriously, what did you think about Sells yesterday? I thought he pulled off some good saves.
That's the first coherent sentence I've heard tonight.
Go on then, ask someone. Who are you asking?
Anybody. Anybody.
Well,
everybody. Hey, you, mate. What do you think about Sells' performance yesterday? I thought he was all right.
Shall I tell you what, Anne? That bit where he tipped it over the bar, was it from Fernandes's free kick? I'm not sure. But that was brilliant. What a save that was. I think
that was a great save because it took a deflection off the wall as well,
didn't it? It took a deflection, then he tipped it over. So
if you look at him compared to Matt Turner, we're talking levels.
Compared to Onana. Like Onana can't even react.
Onana was my best player yesterday. I think he was
man of the match.
I've got to say, did anybody see that Yates video in the lineup where he's like annoying Onana? That literally made Yates my favorite player. He's like rubbing his hands and looking at Onana, and Onana's like, it's proper joke. I mean, I can't replay it, but go and find it. It's on my Twitter.
Shadow banned.
Someone shadow banned Twitter.
Excuse me.
Can we also celebrate Mikolenko
Crypto?
Yeah, I wanted to bring this up. Like on a serious note, as David said here, we spare a moment to send Antonio our best wishes and hope that he makes full and speedy recovery from his accident yesterday. 100%, man. Number 18.
From what they're saying, though, he seems to have had a lucky escape. If you look at the picture of the car, because they're saying he's got a leg fracture. Well, if that's it,
he's only got a leg fracture.
Yeah, then good. And I'm glad. I mean, obviously, we're glad that it's okay.
Yeah, so shout out to him, and I think West Ham dealt with it quite well as well. So shout out to them in terms of they were putting updates and just telling everyone to give him their space. I think that was good. But yeah, shout out to him. He still made me cry when he left. Anyway, let's move on and talk about Cristiano Ronaldo because
hang on. What about Milenkovic? I want to celebrate the fact he got his first goal.
You lot sort this out yourself.
It was everybody's on an off tonight. Team.
Right, let's talk about Milenkovic.
I was so pleased for the guy because he's been close on quite a few occasions recently, hasn't he? And he finally got that one. And what a place to get it! I was so pleased for him. I love that guy.
He's been a threat. He's been a threat more of as an assister. Knocking the ball across, but. That couldn't have been an easier set from front post up against the dwarf. The delivery was spot on. The pace of the delivery, where he didn't have to put too much power behind it, he just had to direct it. And he
Anderson
was it?
Brilliant corner.
Anderson's corner, yeah. And let's not forget Jota's effort as well. This is a reason why Jota is a threat, and he needs to.
I thought he had a good game.
Think about Milenkovic as well. Carry on. Milenkovic. Because I was going to say, the thing I noticed about Milenkovic was the intensity of his celebration. Did you see how see his face? It's like his veins were bulging out. Like he really wanted that goal. And that's the kind of commitment I like to see from our players.
Rob, did you see as well Jota Silva when they scored? He was nowhere near the ball, and he was just like knee sliding in the corner of the pitch.
Yeah. I thought Jota had an excellent game yesterday.
Well, like, what about that? Like when he got absolutely elbowed in the gob, but nothing was done about it. And then Milenkovic just like lightly touched some guy on the edge of the box, and he just went over like some kind of Ryan Yates. It was just, I don't know. I felt that the refereeing could have been worse, but I
thought he was horrible. I thought he was horrible, Rob. He was giving them every single little slight nudge. He was giving them
I did like the way he made Onana reset the ball 5 times.
Yeah, that was Onana's fault.
That was what I meant to say. My favourite part of the whole game was Onana. Like, you got 30 seconds to go, and he was like, no, back. And he was like, no, back.
The funny thing is, after the last time he put the ball down for the 5th time, then it blew to the place.
So he wasted 45 seconds doing that, and then delivered it right into the corner to a ball that Maguire could not get his slab head onto. And it was absolutely brilliant. And that was the end of the game, pretty much. That was it.
It's a hero.
I tell you what, though, it would have made more sense for Maguire to start to defend up against Milenkovic than Martinez. Martinez like a foot and a half smaller than him. It's crazy.
Amarin's decisions yesterday. I don't know what they're expecting from this Scamarin, but he was atrocious with his in-game management yesterday. It was unbelievable. I was actually shocked at what he was doing. It's like, are you trying to give this game away? But whatever happened, we got a lot of luck yesterday. Did we only have? Is it right? But we only had 3 shots and scored 3 goals
on target.
On target.
Yeah, 3 shots on target. Now, couple that with the Man City game and the chances we missed in that Man City game. So 2 things happened. You touched on it earlier about the high press, which led to our second and third second goal, especially. But similar thing happened in the Man City game, if you remember, and it was De Bruyne who gave the ball away for Chris Wood when he ran through. The difference was we had similar chances in the Man City game. The difference was we didn't put them away. Yesterday, 3 chances, we put all 3 of them away. So that was the difference. That's why I saw the post-match interview with Nuno for both games, and the balance from him was what I want to see from my manager. He didn't get too down when we lost against Man City because he could see that there were positives in that game. And I know looking at the result, you're not going to see him, but as a manager, he has to detach himself from the emotion slightly. And he did yesterday, and he did it on Saturday, did it on midweek as well, which I thought really showed where his focus is, because it is, we said 6 games this month. I mean, I wasn't on the last stream, but I would have been happy with 2 points from these trips to Manchester. We come back with 3. Sorry, pardon my language. I'm elated. You know, I'm absolutely gobsmacked by that. And looking at the games going forward, so the 6 games prior to this break, we won 4, we lost 2. The reactions from that losing those 2 games to Arsenal and Man City of all teams. Yeah, we lost Newcastle in between that as well. But the reaction was just too much for me. You know, we were still in a decent position. Yes, we had teams behind us, but we knew that if we can get through these 2 games, I think the rest of December going into it, I was looking for 4 wins from these 6 games. And I still think we can do that. So I'm not going to be too reactionary. That's what I don't want us to be. We've got a lot of games in a short amount of time, and Nuno has to keep the team grounded. And I'm really positive. I'm really G'd up by the way he's talking after the games. He's not getting too high when we win, and he's not getting too down when we lose. And if he's feeding that back to the team, then that's only mean a good thing. So
you sound like goddamn Cooper. You're disgusting.
Yeah, no, I don't. Shut up.
Yes, you do. Never get too high, never get too low. You sound like Cooper.
Shut up. I'm going off the screen.
That's fine.
Yeah, okay. Processes, bro. Processes.
Chock-a-block.
To shut him up. I'd have said it an hour ago. My God.
Are you talking about Ez or Jota, Chuck?
But yeah, he does make a point in that, Ant, because someone was saying on the last stream, I just don't see us winning another game. I don't know how we win a game now. I just can't
really
see
talk
it.
like that. I just don't know I talk like that.
I don't talk like that. It's a little bit like that.
Listen,
after
the Man City game, I was really down. You know, I was, because not just because of the Man City game, but because of the fact that out of 4 games, we'd lost 3 by 3 goals. That we were letting 3 goals in each game. That's. I think anybody's got a right to be concerned about that, because it doesn't matter what you did in August. It doesn't matter what you did in September. We're in December now, and if you've lost 3 out of 4 games, and you've not scored a goal, and you've let in 3 in each of those games, I think you've got a right to start getting a little bit concerned. But yesterday we looked like we were back on it, so I'm absolutely delighted. And I will say I will say to Crypto that I thought Jota had an excellent game yesterday. I really enjoyed it yesterday.
Finally.
Yeah, you don't have to gloat. You don't have to gloat. You can be magnanimous and just accept it.
Crypto was right and was wrong yet again. Shop.
You're clapping yourself. You realise how bad that is?
Yeah, I know.
Shut up, Rob.
I don't know about yet again. But I really enjoyed the performance.
Yourself. About that Man City game, I do not think we overreacted. I think our reaction was entirely justified because the way the team was set up and the performance were both utter crap, and we'd only scored 2 goals in 4 games, both from dead balls. So I think as supporters, we are I try not to get too low or too high.
Stop with that line. I hate it.
But
you sound just like me and Wolfie. We're just like, aren't we? We don't get too high.
They needed a kick up the arse. They needed a kick up the arse after that game, and I'm glad that they got one, and I'm glad that they've turned it around, because really yesterday's result came absolutely from nowhere, and they've turned it around again. They've turned it around in the best way possible. So fair play. But I'm not going to regret anything I said 48 hours ago. I think our reaction was entirely justified based on what we've seen at the empty-head stadium. Thank you very much.
Did we not create chances in that game? Did we not create chances that we didn't take? And at 1-0 down,
our best chance. Man City created our best chance.
Yes, they did. But if that goal had gone in at 1-0 when we were 1-0 down and Chris would have scored, would that not have changed the game?
So we didn't
take
our chances.
Why are you talking about Man City? Talking about the
That's what I said. Yeah, we didn't take our chances against Man City. If we had taken our chances, it would have been a different game. We took our chances yesterday. But we took our chances yesterday. That's what
we didn't against Man City. That's the most irrelevant
point. No. Let me finish my point about your reactionary attitude after the last game. That's what I'm saying. Only difference was we had similar chances in the Man City game. We didn't take them. We've had similar chances yesterday. We've taken them. So to be so reactionary after the Man City defeat, we're being upset.
But we were reacting to the game. We were reacting to performance.
Yeah, I know. But listen, guys. This is my whole point. We are in a position where people do actually listen to our opinions, and it does, and rightly or wrongly, it does affect people's opinions. It does.
Who the hell listens to your opinion?
That is bollocks.
Well, who's listening to my opinion anyway? I'm hardly here. And when I am here, I'm hardly, I'm lagging most of the time.
And when you are here, you're talking about a game from last week that no one gives a shit.
I'm not talking about my opinion. My opinion clearly doesn't matter. But
anyway, so are we all happy about yesterday's results then?
Anyway, so anyway,
this bloody podcast, mate, and then you lot have just pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie. It's like you ruined the weekend for me.
Brightest of us all, and it's gone right down the pan since.
Honestly, right? Can we please talk about Chris Wood? Because as Jess said, thank you for the £2, Jess. No, Ant, it is Wood time.
Yep.
He's. I'm not sure. I think he's now my all-time favorite player. I don't know. I've got to do the math still in my mind. He overtook Brian Roy. He scored the winner against Man U. I can't find a reason for him not to be my favorite player, even though deep down inside, I don't know if I can let go of Roy. I don't know if I can let it go.
Still not
I'm just being honest.
Can I just say to Jess, you're going to be really jealous because next week I've got a signed, framed Chris Wood shirt coming. If he gets injured and the season goes down, we get relegated, don't blame me. But I got a signed Wood shirt coming next week.
That's it. Take him out your fantasy teams.
He's just entered the season and ended the season for us. Cheers.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, Ben, on Chris Wood, firstly, congratulations and happy birthday.
Yeah. Good way.
And thank you to the dwarf for letting the ball just go in the net behind him.
Yeah, thanks, Ed.
But yeah, what a turnaround. What a turnaround. One of the worst strikers I'd ever seen under Cooper in my life. And he was nearly there with Salenzi, man. And then under Nuno just turns it around into this beast mode. Yeah, what can you say about Chris Wood?
I mean, he's literally the Forest hero. The reason I've ordered this signed Wood shirt is because for me, he's basically now history. He is a part of the history of Nottingham Forest. In 30 years' time, when other people are doing the museum tour like we did the other day, it'll be Chris Wood's shirt and boots who are hanging up there because he's just fantastic. Name your price. He's fantastic, isn't he? And not just for us. He scored what? 2 hat-tricks for New Zealand a few weeks ago. So
that's definitely an achievement, mate.
Samoa, bro.
Against Samoa, yeah.
He is the literal difference this season. We gave him a lot of criticism when he wasn't doing well under Cooper, which is fair. You can criticize people if they're not playing well. But this season, I've been full of praise for him. And I genuinely believe that he loves the club as well. And it's good when you watch his interviews, like he's got this connection with Morgan Gibbs-White, with people like Alanga, with Callum Hudson-Odoi. He says that they just kind of get him. They know where to put the ball. They know where he wants the ball. And some of his headers are sublime. These headers where he kind of like falls back and then heads it as a loop over the keeper. He's done that a few times this season. I think he's got to be one of the best finishers in the Premier League. You know, I'm talking top 1 or 2 finishers in terms of ball striking, especially at close distance, with his head and his feet in the league. So, look, if you compare him to someone like Awani who scores with his shins, Chris Wood is the most clinical striker that I think I've ever seen at Forest. Bearing in mind, I've been going to Forest.
His conversion rate is outstanding. It's
fantastic. He's so clinical. The only thing that makes me upset is that he's really shit on FIFA because he's so slow. But actually, he puts the afterburners on as well. We've seen that
3-star as well, man.
So I was actually surprised when he missed that chance he had against Man City. I was surprised. I was like, it's Chris Wood. He's going to score. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't miss many.
Yeah. Bro, just so you jump in, as Lion just said, we're on 207 likes. Still 450 in here. Get those likes up, guys. Get those likes up. And let me just put you talk on Chris Wood. There's a few super chats just to catch up on. Where are we? Jess said, thank you for the £2. She says, Crypto, name your price for that shirt. Can you please take that Sangare shirt down?
It cost a lot.
Don't put any shirts up, man.
Can you just take the Sangare shirt down, mate, please? Because he's got a new injury because of you.
I'll take it down for the next GOR and put the Chris Wood shirt up. But if he gets injured, don't blame me.
No. Put any shirt. I'll tell you what, put on a Solanke shirt, a Spurs Solanke shirt up there. Now he's crap anyway.
God, that'd be Rob's wet dream. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
1865 for the £2. He says, Chris Wood, I repent. Well done.
Too, mate.
Shout out to you, bro. And Jess with another £2. She says, thank you, Jess. She says, and Ez, I'm sorry, he is better than Collymore.
100%.
No, but I respect your opinion.
This needs a poll. Jess,
it really doesn't need a poll. If there's anybody in that's too young to remember Stan Collymore, just go and watch some videos, and I promise you.
And even that's not going to do justice.
Right, it won't do justice.
Is Collymore double O in the more?
No. COLLYMORE.
Yeah.
Go on, Rob.
I need one of your microphones, Ant, so I can just like cut.
You know where to get it from.
I thought you ordered it.
It would have been here today if you'd have ordered it yesterday. Right.
So I was actually about to give Crypto a compliment and say that was for coherent.
And I give you a compliment.
If you'd actually just said what you said earlier instead of getting ChatGPT to write that eulogy for Chris Wood, it would have been a lot better, and you'd be allowed back on the Forest Forum. Anyway,
no ChatGPT tonight.
Right. So now, can I do the comparison with Brian Roy without upsetting Wolfie?
Don't bring Roy.
No, because he's obviously just overtaken Brian Roy, and his name is now being mentioned in the same breath.
I love you, Brian Roy.
The thing I would say about Roy, and I do remember him very well, is that he scored most of those goals as part of a partnership with Collymore, which was a very successful partnership that got us to third in the league. My concern about Roy is that he just really dropped off after Collymore left. Now, the point I would make about Chris Wood is he has been operating alone for most of that time. Yeah, he's been a lone striker, and he's been a self-starter as well, right? I mean, basically, he got off to a crap start under Cooper. He got injured, and then his contract was formalized. He got the 3 years. We all thought, oh my God, what have we done? And he basically played himself into form. So I think he needs some respect for what he's done alone, operating alone as a lone striker. The other thing I'd say about Chris Wood, is I actually don't want us to sign a striker in January if it's going to be a panic buy, right? I think what Chris Wood does and what his current form does is he gives us until the close season, the end of the season, to actually make a more strategic purchase.
No.
Because look at how we were chasing around after that. Oh God, what's his name? The Mexican guy from Feyenoord.
Jimenez.
Right.
Jimenez.
Look at how we were chasing around after him, offering him ridiculous amounts of money.
Right.
And I'm saying that. God, can I not be interrupted? Right. So what
You can be
his form has given us a position where we don't have to go around chasing second-rate talent and overpaying, because right now we've got the third top scorer in the toughest league in the world.
I agree.
And it's going to be pretty hard to actually sign somebody better than Chris Wood this season.
Rob,
so
nobody's denying it.
Yeah.
Nobody's denying what you're saying. We should only buy a top quality striker or an up and coming youngster as an understudy for Wood.
Yes,
I think.
I agree.
Yeah, Evan Ferguson's shit. All right. But,
no, he's not. He's better than Solanke.
He's not shit. He's
not shit. He's better than
He's
Solanke.
shit. Honestly, man. Why do you think he never
He's
plays
got a
for
lot of
Brighton?
potential,
He kept playing Brighton by bloody what's his name? His mate.
Well,
he's not shit.
Well,
yeah.
He's not shit.
He's literally kept outside by Welbeck.
Lies.
Honestly,
he's been injured for like a year.
He's been injured.
Well, injury's no good, is it? Injury's no good.
That's my concern about him.
If you spend less time,
now I'm finished.
Yeah. Calm down, right? I think Evan Ferguson is one of the most overhyped, overrated players of this century, right?
Yeah, but you wanted Eddie Nketiah, so your opinion is
wait a minute. He's achieved zero. If he goes on to be a great player, I will change my mind. But so far, when I've seen him play, he's contributed virtually nothing. Right? Don't forget, he's not a kid who's just come in. He's been there about 3 years now. And he's never done anything.
That's called experience.
Let's forget about him. I just wanted to go back because evidently 18% of people have not seen Collymore play or don't know about him. Right.
It's interesting, isn't it?
A lot of Man U fans will tell you that Nicky Butt was a good player. Right? He was a decent midfielder.
He was crap.
Right? But
he
was in Champions League and Premier League winning sides. Wolfie, right? He was. So he's a decent player. He's picked by Ferguson for many, many years. So he was a decent player. But comparing Wood to Collymore is like comparing Nicky Butt, and this is no exaggeration. It's like comparing Nicky Butt to Zinedine Zidane. That is the gulf in quality of those players. Collymore should have been one of the best players in the world. However, he wasn't right in the head. If he'd have been right in the head, if he'd have stuck to his game and played football instead of fucking about, he was magnificent. I've seen Forest play from the great players of the past, as you all know. But Stan Collymore is the best player I've ever seen.
Was he better than Robbo? Because all the golden gems.
Anybody.
Can I make a supporting point? And can I make a supporting point? So if you go on YouTube,
I will, Rob. I will let you come in.
This will take 10 seconds. If you go on YouTube and you search for the 2-1 win at Old Trafford in 1994, just watch the goal that Collymore scores in that game, right? And he did that every week, didn't he, Anne?
Yeah,
he did
every
that
week.
so many times.
Wimbledon.
It's not one-off.
It's not one-off.
He would get the ball in his own penalty area, and everybody would stand up and say, "Go on, Stan," because he would literally beat 10 men and score.
His Premier League debut was against Man U at the City ground. He tormented Pallister and Bruce that night. Absolutely tormented him. His goal was fantastic. He beat Schmeichel at the near post, didn't he?
Yeah, and Ferguson said he told his players to keep him on the left, to keep him on the right, because his right foot is better than his left. Scored from 25 yards with his right foot. Honestly, man.
Wait, Rob, are you old enough for Robbo?
Not quite, no.
All right, sweet. So, Ant, I can only lean on you here.
You can only lean on Ant.
Because I hear it from the guy, and chat, I want to lean on you as well. I've put it in a poll, Collymore versus Robbo. Obviously, we're too young to have seen him. But everyone bigs up Robbo, like next level. And a lot put him ahead as the all-time greatest.
Yes, he has been voted. Prior to Collymore, he was always voted for his best player. Once Collymore had been and gone, the Evening Post used to do polls, it's always Collymore. Robbo was magnificent, but he was a little blow. He wasn't very fat. Well, he was slow, but he could beat a man. But in today's game, I think it struggled because he had no pace whatsoever. Collymore was like greased lightning, and he had power. It was
power. Yeah. You could hold off. He could hold off an entire team. If you watch a goal against Wimbledon.
To be fair to Robbo, it's a different game now. At his time, Robbo was magnificent. If you put a 1 yard square down and the ball on it, Robbo would get past his man. You know what I mean? He would just stop the ball, shimmy, go by, put a cross in. Robbo was magnificent, but he's a different type of player. And if I had one player I had to pick, it would be Collymore. That's you know.
Yeah, I think it's down to obviously the era that you grew up in, also the achievement. So Robbo is part of that golden era, which unfortunately I didn't see. I was born then, and I didn't live through it, as in like supporting them. But there were different types of players. But the influence Robbo had on that team, that promotion winning, championship winning, double European cup winning team was immense. When he won the finals on his own on a couple of occasions. If it wasn't for his crossbar, the infamous Trevor Francis goal, that wouldn't have happened. And it was like with commentator says, it's one thing I wanted to see him do, and he gets that ball in and we score that winning goal. So Robbo was a different type of player, and his influence on that squad in that time was you can't compare it. But for me, for what I saw, there's to this day, and not just as a Forest player, but there's no player that's made me more excited watching him than Stan Collymore.
Can I make a quick recommendation? Quick recommendation. If you ever get tired of Forest Fan TV, there is a really good channel on YouTube. I think it's called Al Hadiri or something like that. All of the games from the European Cup campaigns are on there. Loads of games from the 90s as well. So you can go back and watch at least highlights or full games. There's an amazing amount of Forest games on YouTube. If you'd gone back 5 years ago,
I tell you what Robbo did have to cope with that Stan and modern day players don't have to cope with, and that's the state of the pitches as they were then. They were mud. Trust me, they were mud heaps. You watch that close Forest at City Ground. Honestly.
Dad's saying Robbo.
My dad says Robbo.
See, I'm really interested in this debate. And also, let me put out to the chat. Oh God, I don't know how we've ended up down this cul-de-sac. Who in your lifetime is the best player you've ever seen?
Well, at Forest or in the world?
No, at Forest. At Forest. I want to start with Ben because apart from me, he's the youngest here. Who would be your greatest of all? Because you've seen some shit, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you two answers. Because my favorite player in terms of entertainment that I think I've ever seen was probably Mikel Antonio and Sombalonga, because those seasons where they played together were just pure entertainment. The way they used to take on those championship defenses was amazing. The best player I've ever seen live is obviously someone from this era. So I don't know who to say. Probably Chris Wood or Milenkovic. I mean,
really?
I haven't seen I haven't seen Forest in the Premier League before.
Okay, I'm not blaming you. It's not your fault.
Fair enough. This is the best team.
This is why it's fascinating, the different generations.
It is. I just remember, I see sometimes in the chat something like that. Do you think, like, you think such and such is as good as such and such from that era? And you're thinking, my God,
I haven't seen that before.
We went 42 league games unbeaten. We lost in our first season in the league. We lost 3 games all season, all the way from home. Second season, we lost 3 games all season, all the way from home. We won 2 European Cups. We won 4 League Cups. Honestly, those players, the likes of Shilton, for example, you won't see a goalkeeper like Shilton. You won't. He was
but you're seeing it through kid eyes as well.
Yeah,
right.
I get that. I understand that.
Bryce Samba was up there for me as one of the most entertaining.
But
I feel for you, Crypto. You've seen some shit. Not that he is. I'm just saying, like, honestly,
I haven't seen the old school. And I can't possibly vote for Stan Collymore because he blocked me on Twitter, so he wouldn't get my vote anyway.
What are you saying? Because yours is kind of the next era after Ant.
Yeah, so I come in as towards the end of the 80s, and certainly my favourite Forest player of all time is Stuart Pearce, but the most talented, most capable Forest player I've seen is Collymore by a country mile. I've never seen in my however many years it is now watching Forest, like 40 years or whatever. I've not seen anybody that touches that level just because of what he could do, the stuff he could do. And I honestly encourage people to go and look it up on YouTube because there's loads of footage from back then. Yeah, there's loads.
I'll tell you what, Rob, he's a 10 times better striker than Hojlund, isn't he? 10 times better striker. Hojlund can't do
very different.
He can't do what Collymore could do.
So very different.
Like Collymore could.
Players in scores.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about Collymore is he obviously went on to Liverpool afterwards, and he was part. He didn't flop. So he was
flopped by a long way.
That first season was very good.
Who's talking at the moment? Who's talking at the moment? Right, thank you. So he was part of a partnership with Robbie Fowler.
Sorry.
Collymore went on to Liverpool, where he was part of a partnership with Robbie Fowler that got about 60 goals, right? Yeah. And that was about 40 goals Fowler and 20 goals Collymore. So everybody was saying, like, oh, that just shows that Fowler is twice as good as Collymore. Fowler was shit compared to Collymore, right? All of those 40 goals that Robbie Fowler scored in that season, that record-breaking season, were created by Collymore. And that is a tribute to Collymore because when Collymore was playing for Forest, he was part of a partnership with Brian Roy, but Collymore was taking the chances himself. But Collymore was actually an excellent player for Liverpool as well. And he was his partnership with Fowler, just because Fowler scored most of the goals, doesn't mean that Collymore wasn't contributing. Collymore laid on a hell of a lot of goals for Fowler.
For Liverpool, Collymore scored 28 goals in 64 games.
I thought stats didn't matter, Ant.
That doesn't rank as a flop to me. That's almost
more than goals don't count, do they, Ant?
That don't matter. I tell you what, Ant, if you'd spend less time playing that shit Witcher 3 game and played FIFA instead, you'd know Evan Ferguson was good.
All right, Ez, your one. I think yours will be quite similar to mine. I feel like if you're of your age, Ez, if you saw the Premier League era before, pretty much your greatest 11 would be filled with the Frank Clark team.
Pretty much, yeah. And that was the point. I think it was 1865. Red put it up. So if you did a best 11, Collymore's in 99% of people's teams. And that's ahead of Chris Wood. So you're not. I don't think you're going for if you are going for a 4-4-2, you're either going Roy and Collymore or Trevor Francis and Collymore, but you're not putting Chris Wood in there.
Rob would probably put Clough in there, would you, Rob?
Nigel Clough?
Nigel Clough was an extremely underrated player, and I think he's still our second top highest scorer of all time. And all of those League Cup wins that we had, he was scoring the goals in those. Nigel Clough could turn the game with one pass.
Who's interrupting now?
I was asked to contribute.
No, he wasn't, Rob. He wasn't in all those League Cup wins.
He did.
No, he wasn't.
Hang on, right. Luton,
in 1979 and 1980, you're telling me.
No, I'm talking about the ones at the end of the 80s.
He's talking about his era. He's talking about his era, isn't he?
We've got four League Cups. He was in 2 of them. That's
Rob's talking about his era, isn't he? So his era was similar to mine, I think.
He was about 8 years old in
Yeah.
Ones you're talking
that's what I'm
about.
saying. When you're in all those League Cup wins, I'm thinking, no, it wasn't.
Yeah, but we're talking about each specific generation here.
The chat may not be aware of when we won those League Cups. So they
Of course they are. Do you know how knowledgeable our chat are, mate?
Chat are educated, but you know.
Actually, you say that. When I asked him who scored in the 8-1, I was getting some weird answers yesterday on that watch along. But
going back to what you were saying,
as
yeah, because of the age, mate. I was going back. That's 40 years ago, that era. So 15, 16, I was, and it was the first time surrounded by Liverpool fans, growing up in Nottingham, but surrounded by Liverpool fans, that I could hold my head up high and walk around with chest because of the players that we had. And Collymore was that man. Collymore was that man. And there's to this day, there's not a player who leaving Forest, whether he retired or got sold, but has hurt me and broke my heart more than when we sold him to, of all teams, Liverpool. So yeah, he's given me my best moments and my worst moments as a Forest fan as well, I've got to say.
Yeah. All right. I do not know how we got onto that.
Joe Baker made me cry.
Let me just catch up with some super chats. Brett with the 22-month, thank you so much, buddy. Sai with the £5 says never change FFTV. But after this sidetrack, Sai, you probably do want us to. I don't know how we got onto it.
Oh my God, nearly 2 hours, guys. Come on, man.
You know, sometimes it's nice to talk about other stuff, though, isn't it?
Well, we're still talking about Forest, I guess.
Yeah, I know.
Jess with the £2, thank you so much. She says,
Jess started it anyway. Jess started it. She said Chris Wood was better than Collymore, so it's all Jess's fault. But thank you for that.
Now you mention it, yeah.
It's your fault, Jess. Crypto, you jinxed Wood. We're gonna fall out.
Yes, I agree.
We're all going to fall out with you. Yeah.
And the lovely Chris with the £2, he says, back then I said I'd only swap Stan for R9. Oof. You're not far off.
I wouldn't have done.
And it's just
I wouldn't have done. Did you see Stan Collymore play?
Did you see R9?
Yeah.
R9 was
take the goggles off. He's not even Forest goggles. These are now Stan goggles, man.
Can we let the chat know something? Because I have seen Anne stand up with a microphone in front of Stuart Pearce and say, "You were my favourite ever Forest player."
No, I didn't.
You said that to Stuart Pearce.
I said you're my hero. I said you're my hero. I didn't say you're the best.
That was a lie. That was a lie.
Have you seen my interview with Stan Collymore?
You kissed him.
He's blocked
you kissed him. You kissed him.
Me and Stan, eye to eye, mate. Love in the air.
All right. We're way over time here. Way over time. Yeah. And I blame Jess. I blame Jess. And by the way, Ian won. He scored my favorite all-time goal. All-time goal.
Why am I talking shit?
Free kick against Spurs. Huh?
Why am I talking shit?
Oh, just ignore it, Anne. Bloody hell. Who's bringing that up?
It's sensitive.
I like to rip him when
it's so sensitive.
I know.
All right. So
I am.
Yeah,
well, they ought to be kind to me then, didn't they? If I'm sensitive.
I remember.
I mean, we haven't covered half the shit we needed to cover, but whatever. Forest better than Man U. It is 3-2 to Forest. Bill with the $10. Thank you so much, buddy. He says, "Good to see some smiles today, boys. You pommies crack me up." They don't crack me up, mate. I can't stand any of them.
What does pommies mean?
I don't know. It must be a New Zealand word.
Maybe meant pommies.
No.
You don't know what a pommy is?
Remember home and away.
Seriously,
I know a pomegranate.
You don't know what a pommy is? You don't know we're called poms. You don't understand that we're called poms by our friend down under.
Yeah, you flaming glass.
I can speak Australian.
Out from home and away, you great galah.
Better put another shrimp on the barbie, mate. Go down to the seaside and get myself a couple of Sheilas.
Okay. Tumbleweed.
Okay.
Yeah, tumbleweed.
Yeah. So what is a pommy? What is a pommy?
It's
a pommy. It's service.
It's a what?
Because everybody was sent down there was a crook, weren't they? So
Prisoners C, Block H.
You've never heard us being called poms before. That's like calling the Americans Yanks. It's so widely used.
Or us being called limeys, you know.
Or limeys, limeys by the States, yeah. But But that's less so than Poms, isn't it? Everybody knows with Poms.
Ben, have you heard
not
it?
educated, and they're not educated. Just leave it.
Look, these guys are like 3 times my age. I ain't heard of half the shit.
Rob, have you heard it?
Of course I have. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Now he's saying it. Well, it's
Yeah,
not our fault. We're so
honestly,
young.
it's like
Well, you're Scottish, so
thing.
we wouldn't have called it you anyway. You're Scottish, bro. It doesn't class.
Exactly.
No,
That's why I haven't heard of
Scottish
it.
is still a Pom.
No, he
Yeah,
That's
didn't.
racist. No, that's racist. All right. Okay, we're over time. So just to summarize,
Actually, it's not
Forest
because
is better than Man U. What?
Scotland can't be because that's what it's
Yeah, I thought it was. What did I say it was?
It's British
Prisoner
people, isn't it?
Prisoner of Mother England.
of Her Majesty's Service. I thought it
Not
was.
Prisoner of Mother Scotland. That'd be Poms.
All right, literally, this is more diverted than talking about Stan Collymore, man. That's our final say here. Forest beat Man U 3-2. Forest are bigger than Man U, better than Man U, and all you Man U fans, go back to London, hold that L, and we will see you to that.
Never lie.
Hold it. In Goldbridge. Oh, and check out the shot I did on Goldbridge. Go check it out. It's on the channel. It's hilarious.
Go right back.
Anything dropping like a turd is your goddamn hairline. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
What? Why are you insulting me?
Come on, you ready?
You ready?
Come on, you Wolves.